Fiona Pearman and Kate Borer, and we're rounding out our series on reframing fear and failure. And this week we're delving into what you can do as leaders to support others. And we'll start by saying we have to normalise the discomfort, the fact that fear exists. It's very real, it's very normal, happens for all of us, and yet we hardly ever talk about it at work. And so the self-doubt tends to go on, and it's very easy for people to let that stop them doing things that they could be capable of. And I think as leaders, there's a really lovely opportunity here to talk about learning rather than having to get things perfect.
Yeah, I think, we think about as humans how much we let fear stop us. And then you think about that in context of the workplace, and then the absence of any conversation around where fear might be holding us back. It really starts to highlight how much opportunity there is, right? To really have good conversations, to normalize that fear is completely normal, it's human. Fear of getting it wrong, fear of looking stupid, all of these things, these fears that, play out in terms of, presenting, speaking, applying for opportunities, they play out in all sorts of contexts in terms of the workplace. And so they are very present in people's worlds. And so the opportunity is to bring them into a conversation with everyone, to normalize them, to acknowledge them. And that's when we can start to do something about it. And I think one of the first ways we can do that as leaders is coaching team members through action, helping them learn the lessons. We always say what went well, what needs to be different, or what are the lessons, the insights, and the aha moments we can really celebrate. But starting to support your team members to ask good questions with the hope that they start to be able to ask themselves good questions and support themselves through the learning process and also the decision-making process.
Yeah, I think there's a real opportunity as leaders to let people in, to let them see our own experiences. All of us, as we've gone through our career, have had moments of doubt, uncertainty, actually maybe some failures, some things we tried that didn't go well. And so when we role model, when we share our own stories of things that didn't go well, of failing, of what we learned from that, of what we were willing to do after that, I think it says to people, it's okay. You don't have to get it perfect. When we talk about perhaps the courage that we had to display to do something that we found really difficult, that makes it easier for other people to do it. And so, as your team members are coming up to maybe an important part of the project, or they do need to present in front of senior stakeholders, your experience can be one they can draw from, and then they can have their own experience and you can coach them through that. And so together you can see why and how you can reframe even things that don't go perfectly as worthwhile.
Yeah, I think we want to catch this um, as well, particularly in terms of, we want to support, not shield. Uh, so sometimes, depending on your relationship with your team member, we can want to protect them from things not going well. And we all will resonate with the fact that some of the biggest learnings and lessons we've had in life is some of our biggest failures. And so there is that, difficult path to walk in terms of resourcing your team members to be able to meet situations, to trust them that that you've got their back, but also have the belief in them. We often, and we say this often in rooms when we're doing women in leadership programs, that often sometimes others will see more potential in you than you as an individual will see in yourself. It's one of the biggest gifts I think that leaders can give their people. And so sometimes that is about putting them in the rooms, putting them in rooms as part of conversations that won't be easy, that will feel hard, and that probably won't go perfectly. And they're all important lessons for them to be able to experience when they start to really reframe failure as feedback. And again, we're not talking about, letting people fall off cliffs or, have catastrophes. We're talking about small, low stakes experiences where they can take imperfect action when they're not 100% ready, that they can start to reset this formula that many of us have in our head around what needs to be present or what needs to be perfect before I take action.
I think this is very much around fostering a growth mindset culture. Carol Dweck's work here is so valuable because when we're willing to take that imperfect action and learn from failure and from feedback, we can fast track things. And really, this is a big conversation for organizations. We know we're all under pressure to do more. Efficiency, productivity, big conversations in most organizations. So this is a pathway to that. And it means that we will have to have some potentially quite challenging conversations, particularly with, some high performers who are very attached to being perfectionists, to doing everything in a certain way and won't put their hand up until they're, that 150% ready. So it's about calibrating and helping them calibrate the opportunity ahead and encouraging them to stretch, to take some opportunities even before they feel ready, to highlight how much they're losing or the high cost of waiting. And when we do that, I think we set the example and tone that it's okay. It's okay to do something that I'm not ready for, to learn through that. And each time someone does that, they reinforce, they have the experience. And so next time it doesn't feel as scary or difficult.
Yeah, we're going to leave it there. If you've enjoyed today's confidence conversation, we'd love to hear from you. And of course, we'd love for you to share it with anyone in your world who you think might benefit from it. If you'd like to hear more of the conversations in this series or any of our other videos, head over to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe. Over 350 videos, including videos from clients who have been through our Acts of Confidence program, who are sharing the impact of our work in their world, both career and life. And if and when you're ready to go deeper with your relationship with core confidence, visit our website, coreconfidence.com.au.